Good morning to everybody. Today's Lady of the Legend. And if you were here in the chat room, you would be able to talk to the legend who is recovering from getting a pacemaker in. But he's doing great. It's just going to be me today, and then Lenny's going to have one more day off until he comes back in action, and he'll be doing the podcast once again 7 days a week. Let's see if we have any sound. And if you listen on demand, you know how it goes. And yes, we do have sound. So let me go ahead and tell the chat room sound is good. Yay. Okay, so we're a little early today, but I see that some of you are not tardy. Eddie Heckman is one of them. Good morning to Eddie Heckman, whose birthday is in December. Zelmo is here. Great to see you, Zelmo and Tony. Wonderful to have you aboard on a Sunday morning. Lenny is here, so he's willing to talk it up in the chat room, he says. So you guys go ahead and just chat around with Lenny if you have questions or whatever. He's here. He's alert. And we're just recovering from the pacemaker. So we check his vitals every morning, and he's feeling great. And he's not in any pain anymore. So we're just moving right along. And he will be back doing the podcast tomorrow like nothing ever happened. Big Al on the prowl, Chris from Cambridge, Eddie Heckman, Timothy My Hooker, Triple Play, Pesky Dodger Danny, Laura is here, and say hello to Mary, two of our great friends that we met through this podcast and also from doing Sirius, but regardless, okay. So, yes, update on Lenny. He's in the chat room. He promised me that if I did the show by myself today, he would talk it up in the chat room, okay? So there he is, alive and well, proof of life here. And Chris from Cambridge is here, yes, and he shared a birthday. We have 60 years old today, BJ Surhoff, and George Hubba Hubsman came in to let us know that BJ Surhoff had 2,326 hits, 1,153 RBI, 141 stolen bases, and a 745 OPS and 8,258 at-bats. Also, George, with his tidbits, points out that he was the best player ever out of Rye, New York. Another great birthday that we have today is Murray Melnick, which is Lenny's father, would be 104 years old today. So happy heavenly birthday to Murray Melnick. Murray Melnick, great guy he was too, okay? So now we move right along to the tidbits of the day. Braves manager Brian Snitker told reporters that he's planning to activate Max Fried today in order to start. So he's been out since late last month with forearm neuritis. Atlanta will need to make room on the active roster before the start of the game today. But yes, Max Fried returns. King Hap is here. Great to see you, King Hap. Eddie Heckman here for the entire podcast. Right? Loose as a goose on the keyboard is Lenny. Okay? Now, Eddie Heckman is in the house. He says he'll be here the whole show. Let's talk about Reds starting pitcher Hunter Green. Where's Turd? Is Turd here? Hunter Green extends his scoreless inning streak to 21 innings in a win over the Giants. He pitched 6 more shutout innings. He allowed 1 hit and he struck out 11, okay? Now, since the start of July, Hunter Green has allowed 1 total run and 10 total hits across 33 innings. He also has 40 strikeouts in those 5 starts. Hey, King Hap, post an update in the chat room to show me what's going on in your head-to-head league, okay? How is it working out so far? All right. I noticed Boston Paul decided not to come here today. His excuse was that he was taking his wife out to breakfast, but I have a feeling that you must be ahead in the scoring because he just lets it get to him so much. It's pretty fun. It's not funny. I don't think anybody's misery is funny. But boy, does he get affected by this stuff. I told him yesterday, if fantasy baseball, dude, is your biggest problem in life, then you should feel really blessed. You know, if the only thing you have to get pissed off about is the fact that King Hap is beating you with not as good of a team because you have injuries, then you're blessed, all right? So post an update, King Hap. I'm interested in knowing what's this current score today heading into the last day of the matchup. Going back to Hunter Green, he's allowed only 1 total run and 10 total hits across 33 innings since the start of July. He also has 40 strikeouts in those 5 starts, and if you think about 5 starts, 33 innings, that's over 6 innings a start, which you just don't see very much. All right, so King Hap says he's losing right now to Boston Paul. The score is 6-5. They use categories for their head-to-head category league, and so Boston Paul is winning, but he only has no starting pitchers left, and he's super stressed out. And King Hap has 3. Who are your 3 pitchers going today? Because it's not always a great thing to have more pitchers. Obviously, you're going to get the counting stats if you count innings, strikeouts, and stuff like that, but if you get like negative points for losses, or you don't do points, so this is just a straight category league. Look, those 3 pitchers could harm you big time in ERA and WHIP if you're not careful. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. I would like to know who your pitchers are today. Also, Hunter Green, back to him last night. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, 21 whiffs, and 34 CSW. Over his last 5 starts in those 33 innings pitched, he has a .27 ERA. And now, obviously, this is not sustainable. However, we've always known that Hunter Green throws the ball damn hard and he strikes out a ton of batters, so you can always pretty much rely on some strikeouts from this guy. The Mariners handed the Phillies their 6th straight loss on a walk-off walk. All right? Mitch Haniger, 7th walk-off plate appearance with the Mariners, tying Jim Presley for the most in franchise history. Now, speaking of losing streaks, since the Phillies are definitely losing, okay, they just lost their 6th straight. But if they want to feel better, all they have to do is look across the aisle at the White Sox. They have a 19-game losing streak now, all right? How about Jarlin Susana, right-handed pitchers for the Washington Nationals? All right. Now let's see what he's doing. He's just days after his 20th birthday, okay? He threw 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 8 strikeouts, 15 whiffs, and a 38 CSW percent. 71.4% of his pitches were strikes. His fastball between 100 and 102 miles an hour held up the entire start. His slider is 88 to 92 miles an hour, and his changeup is 94 miles an hour, right? So the guy's got a great array of pitches here at all different speeds. Last 10 starts and 50 innings pitched, 1.62 ERA, 75 strikeouts, 66% strikes, 19% swinging strikes, and a 32% strikeout minus walk ratio. No, strikeout minus walk percentage, not ratio, okay? It's not a ratio. It's a percentage, which is a ratio if you think about it. Either way. A few days after his 20th birthday, I told you, and he nearly produced an immaculate inning against big league hitters, but after Joey Gallo and Riley Adams struck out on 6 pitches, Jacob Young was able to weakly ground out, but this guy's name is Jarlin Susana, Susana, topping out at 102.4 miles an hour with this fastball, and sat around 100 miles an hour while also working on his potentially plus slider, and he also has that changeup that I mentioned. And Malpal, sorry that you walked in on this, because this kid went from the Padres as part of the package that the Nationals received for Juan Soto from the Padres. This kid looks like he could be something good. Made 16 starts at Single-A Fredericksburg last season and posted a disappointing 5.55 ERA in 58 and a third innings. Washington isn't going to give up on him working out as a starting pitcher just yet. But if he were to shift to a relief role, he could climb the ladder very quickly. What do you think, my friend Malpal? You walked in. Is he here, you said? Did you say Malpal is here, Leonard?
Yes, Malpal is here.
Okay. And Leonard Donaldson and Star Dog. Great to see you. Am I yelling?
No.
Okay, King Hap, who's your pitchers you got tonight? I didn't see your pitchers going today. You didn't tell me, so please. Okay, it says, all right, King Hap says he's losing ERA and whip, and he's down 12 strikeouts. Oh, good grief. And he's only, okay. Robbie Ray and Eovaldi are two of his pitchers. He also has Hader, Holmes, MacArthur, and Fairbank, and oh gosh, Boston Paul doesn't start any relievers. So he has a potential for 7 pitchers today to his no pitchers today. He used the wife excuse Thursday night to not hear it on the happy hour. He keeps taking his wife out to eat so much. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's pretty good. So come on, Boston Paul. It's all in fun. Hello! There he is. He came over. He must have heard us, King Hap. Boston Paul, it's so nice to see you. And we were just talking about you. I want to know why you don't start any relief pitchers, dude. Saves is a category. So what are you thinking? Okay. Boston Paul in the house. Let's go. The Dodgers are, here you go, pesky Dodger fan, okay? Boston Paul is not the only one I pick on. It's gotta be, you gotta pick on, it's equal opportunity around here, okay? The Dodgers are 30-30 over their last 60 games. That's tied for the 20th best record in baseball over that span, and it's their most losses over a 60-game stretch since 2018. And when I say they're tied for the 20th best record, that means that they're worse than 2/3 of the teams. Okay?
Mitchell's here.
Mitchell, good morning to you. Oh, he starts Helsley. Which relievers do you have? Helsley and who? And Clase. That's a good one. Okay. Ooh, I have a bad feeling about this day for you, Boston Paul. You better hope that Robbie Ray pulls one of his, 18 walk outings, dude, and Eovaldi gets hurt after the second inning. You gotta really hope these two, Robbie Ray and Eovaldi, don't do well. But this is what makes it fun, okay? This is what makes it fun. But King Hap, it looks like you guys are real close in other categories, so he's only down 1 home run. And I'll tell you what, anything could happen today. And I have to say, whether you get pissy or not, if you get pissy, then you like getting pissy. It makes you excited. It pushes your adrenaline. Whatever it is, it's exciting, and this is why we play. And it's a good time had by all, including me, who has the equal opportunity shit talking. Okay, Spencer Torkelson at AAA Toledo, 8 home runs, 27 walks, has an OPS of 924 in his last 30 games. So why is he still sitting at AAA Toledo? That's the question of the day. Now tomorrow, when you come in for class, Lenny's going to go and talk about the biggest fantasy baseball surprises this season. And so I'm going to let him do that, but this was just a little preview. One thing who's a surprise is that nobody in the entire world had Brent Rooker pegged as a top 10 fantasy asset. His average is 47 points higher than last year. His OPS is 141 points higher than last year. He's on pace for 293 batting average, which is like the craziest thing ever. 42 homers, 123 RBIs, and 11 stolen bases and 550 at-bats. I didn't even think this guy stole bases, all right? White Sox Al, good morning. By the way, White Sox Al, you could get your trash bin ready because the White Sox now have like 19 straight losses in a row, dude. La 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 la. La 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 la. Boston Paul and King have are besties. That's why they love to do this. Oh, goodness, Boston Paul. You always dish it out, but you can't take it. All right. Did any of you peg Brent Rooker as this guy that he is? Did you think he was going to steal 11 bases? And honestly, did you think he was going to hit 293? Nobody did. There it is, the trash bin, the White Sox trash bin. It's so good. Okay. All right. How about Stephen Kwan? Now, by the way, one other thing to point out about Brent Rooker, and I told you he's on pace for all these crazy numbers. That's a first-round draft pick in a 12-team league with the 42 homers, 11 stolen bases, 123 RBIs, 293 batting average. Dude, that's 5-tool player right there, okay? Now, Chris from Cambridge gives us the Trevor Bauer report. Thank you. I have no notes today, but I thank you, Chris, for bringing it. He's still undefeated at 10-0, but his ERA has bloated to a fat 2.48. That's right. I think he still leads the entire Mexico League with ERA and strikeouts, but he did have a quick shelling last week, okay? So he had a bad outing. But as Chris from Cambridge points out, he's still undefeated. It will be interesting when a team has to decide between their blackballing of Trevor Bauer or winning a World Series. If it comes down to that, we'll see. But I highly doubt anybody hires him. Although I know that his agent and him are still trying to talk to everybody. How about Stephen Kwan? His average is up 62 points from last year. His OPS is 159 points higher than last year. He's hit over twice as many home runs and nearly half as many at-bats compared to last year. All right? And also, another guy that's surprising, that Lenny has a whole list of players that are surprising, okay? So next, when you come back to class tomorrow, you get your pens out and your pencils. According to the Jordan Westberg ADP, most people obviously didn't think he would be one of the top second basemen this year, but he is. Eddie, this one's for you, my friend. Anthony Santander leads MLB with 9 home runs on pitches outside the strike zone. And talk about leading the MLB. Let's talk about Aaron Judge. Yankees fan just loves this guy. Aaron Judge was intentionally walked with nobody on and 2 outs. It's the first time in over 50 years that a batter has been intentionally walked with 2 outs and no one on base in the first 2 innings of a game. Okay? Aaron Judge has 298 home runs in 945 career games. The MLB record is held for the fewest career games to hit 300 home runs. It's held by Ralph Kiner. Okay, it took Ralph Kiner 1,087 games to hit 300 home runs. All Judge needs is 2 home runs in the next 130 games to beat Kiner and have the record for all time fewest games to 300 home runs in MLB history. He's definitely breaking some records. Also, Aaron Judge is really close to holding the records for the most first inning home runs in an MLB season in history. He's got I can't remember the numbers, but we talked about it yesterday, and he was like 2 or 3 home runs. If he gets 2 or 3 if he gets 2 or 3 first inning homers, he will hold the MLB history record for the most home runs in the first inning in a season. Okay? That was tough to spit out, I have to admit. Okay, now Laura, let's talk about the Mets. And Rotorius, let's go. The New York Mets are promoting right-handed pitcher Brandon Sproat, S-P-R-O-A-T, but not to the majors. They're promoting him to AAA in Syracuse. He had a 2.45 ERA along with 77 strikeouts in 62 and a third innings for the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. He struck out 13 in 5 scoreless innings, including the last 11 batters that he faced. He had a 2.45 ERA in 11 Double-A starts, so he is moving up the ladder after one of the best performances of his young career when he struck out 13 batters, including the final 11 that he faced, and that was on Friday at Double-A New Hampshire. Over 11 starts with Double-A Binghamton, 2.45 ERA, a .87 whip, 77 strikeouts in 62 and a third innings, and now he's looking to keep it up at the AAA level because he's one step away from making it to the big leagues. The crazy things about the Mets is that they're really winning and they haven't even been firing on all cylinders, okay? Even during this stretch of winning games, Alonso is cold for most of the time. Brandon Nimmo is not hitting and he's all banged up. Francisco Alvarez has hand issues and really doesn't have any power, which is like his main asset, okay? And JD Martinez couldn't be worse. Over the last month, he's been just ice cold. And the Mets are still winning. It's called momentum, fellas. Momentum, fellas. I am shouting. Okay, I'll calm down. I'm sorry. Do you like it when I shout, Leonard?
Yes.
Leonard likes it when I shout. That's why I do it. Okay, Ben Joyce records his first big league save by notching a strikeout on a 104.7 mile an hour fastball, the fastest pitch in the majors this year. He's on the Angels. Ben Joyce, he's a rookie. He's reeled off 22 and a third consecutive scoreless innings and thrown 6 of MLB's top 10 hardest pitches in 2024. And I bet the other ones came from Mason Miller, who we have an update for later on in the show. But he struck out 1 and he allowed a hit and a walk in a scoreless 8th inning to record a hold on Thursdays. So Angels manager Ron Washington indicated last weekend that the right-hander would likely take over the closer role if the team traded Luis Garcia, who had freshly stepped in for Carlos Estevez when he got traded. But then Hunter Strickland received his second straight save chance on Thursday after Luis Garcia was dealt. Joyce is still viewed as the organization's closer of the future, but Washington doesn't quite feel that he's ready for the job. He's 23 years old. So, Strickland will fill the role for now, but Joyce could soon force his way into the job, given he hasn't allowed a run in 17 straight appearances. Okay? Okay. Shohei Ohtani, Dodger Danny, is the first member of the 30-30 club this season. 33 homers, leads the National League, and also ranks second in all of baseball. 30 stolen bases, which is third in all of baseball. He is the first Dodgers player in the 30-30 club since who? Who is the last Dodgers hitter to join the 30-30 club, which means 30 homers and 30 stolen bases in a season? Who was the last Dodgers to do it? Lenny was looking up Jerry and the Pacemakers music just the other day, okay? Leonard Donaldson is pretty good. He liked Jerry and the Pacemakers, he tells me, okay? All right, so who was the last Dodger before Ohtani did it this year? Yes, Turd, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us today. King Turd took his family to the wonderful Texas Rangers game yesterday as a last-minute family outing before the school season starts, and we just love things like that. So, yes, Turd Jr. and probably little Juniorette. Not sure if Juniorette's ready for a Rangers game, but I wouldn't doubt if she tagged along. But anyway, Turd has a wonderful family, and he got to see a guy wearing a Curt Schilling jersey at the snack bar, which we loved. And, of course, King Turd promptly commented and complimented the guy on his Curt Schilling jersey.
He answered the question.
Yes, he did. It's Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp is the answer, and King Turd was the first to get it. But the rest of you fools, you did it too. Okay, and Turd Juniorette went. Love it. All right, so the fewest games played to reach 30 homers and 30 stolen bases in a season. 1987, Eric Davis did it in 90 games. 1998, Alex Rodriguez did it in 107 games. 2024, Ohtani did it in 108 games, and that ties with 1973, Bobby Bonds. Is that Barry Bonds' dad?
Yeah.
108 games also. So who do you have for AL MVP to the chat room? We need some guesses here. Are you going to take Aaron Judge or Bobby Witt for AL MVP? And, for me, it really just kind of comes down to the fact are the Yankees going to get to the playoffs? The Royals don't seem very good, but I did read that if the playoffs were today, 3 out of the 5 American League Central teams would make the playoffs, which includes the Royals. So, all right. Eloy Jimenez was 2 for 3 with an RBI. And will the change of scenery help him, in my opinion? Oh, good grief. I don't know if it's a change of scenery going to stop him from getting hurt, right? That's his problems. But yes, he was excellent when he was a prospect with the Cubbies. He was a high-profile prospect. And they loved him so much, they just hated trading him to the White Sox, but they did, and he just has been hurt since. And yes, I do hope that the change of scenery helps Eloy, and I wouldn't be surprised one bit if he played better. That's my truth. Victor Robles, the last 248 plate appearances. Yes, where would the Royals be without Witt? And that's absolutely why when you're talking about who should be the MVP, where would the Royals be without Witt? Well, where would the Yankees be without Judge? I think this is going to come down to which of these two teams makes it further into the playoffs, because the Yankees are having a bad time right now. And the Royals, they just keep trucking along with their one-man wrecking ball, a.k.a. Bobby Witt. So, Victor Robles, last 248 plate appearances, .303 batting average, .386 on-base percentage, 127 weighted runs created plus, 22 stolen bases, 5 defensive runs saved. Can you believe this guy is only 27 years old? He was a top 5 overall prospect with elite makeup and energy who contributed to a World Series team in his rookie season. And I have all but just completely given up on this guy. He's only 27 years old. You know what the experts say. 27 is supposed to be the prime athletic year of your life in baseball. So we do have that going, and Victor Robles is a sneaky good guy. Jackson Holliday has 5 hits and 6 RBIs in his 4 games since returning to the Orioles. Eddie, that's right, that's for you. We love Jackson Holliday. Glad he's finally hitting, right? Ketel Marte over his last 10 games. .444 batting average, 7 home runs, 17 RBI. 11 runs scored. He went 2 for 5 with 2 solo homers on Friday. He's 16 for 36 with 7 home runs and 17 RBI over the last 10 games. Marte doing it up. 26 homers for the season, only 6 shy of the career best 32 homers that he hit in 2019. And you know, the thing about Ketel Marte is that it's no big secret that this guy hits the ball hard. And I've been a fan for a while, but I have to say, you know, this performance this year kind of comes out of nowhere because he hasn't had a great season since 2019, and his ADP showed it. But how can you be that surprised? As Ron Chandler says, once a player displays a tool, then that's their tool forever. And Ketel Marte, very hard hitter. All the numbers say it. He hits the ball hard. There you go. He's only 6 home runs shy of his career best 32 homer season in 2019. Who has the most wins in the last 60 games? Well, yes, Laura, yes, Rotorius, you would be right. The New York Mets have the most wins in the last 60 games, 37 wins. That would be 23 loss, 37 wins. And who has the least? Yes, you don't have to guess very hard. It's the trash bin Chicago White Sox with only 12 wins in the last 60 games. But some other teams that have been real good in the last 60 games with 35 out of 60 wins: Arizona, Minnesota, Houston, and Cleveland. Also 34 right up there would be Milwaukee, San Diego Padres, and the Boston Red Sox. There you go. Boston Paul and King Happ's team. All right. It's August 3rd, and the Mets are one of 6 or 7 teams competing for 3 wild card spots. They're 7 games out of first place with 7 games left against the Phillies. If the Mets can beat the Phillies each of the times that they face them, and the sooner the better, right? Because the Phillies are having a rough time of it. So I'd like to get on with it. Let's face those Phillies and get them kicked out of the number 1 spot. Go Mets! Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Past 16 games, batting .518, 9 homers, 18 RBIs, and 19 runs scored. He hit a solo homer in the first inning, singled in the 4th inning, and then doubled and scored a run in the 6th inning. He's really about as hot as it gets right now, extending his hit streak to 16 games and homering for the 9th time in those 16 games. On the year, Vlad Jr. is batting .318 with 22 homers, 72 RBI, and 65 runs scored in 480 plate appearances. So anybody that gave up on Vladdy Jr., you just gave up too quickly. Oh, King Happ has given the Sox to Taco and Boston Paul. Who are you? You can't be rooting for the Yankees, though, right, King Happ? So King Happ is a Boston fan, but he's also a realist, you know? He knows when his team is stinky, and that's what you're dealing with. Now, his friend Taco, on the other hand, his brother-in-law. Now, Taco is he's a Red Sox fan through thick and thin, okay? And he believes they have a chance to win every year, even when they have no closer, no outfielders, no nothing. But, hey, you got to give him credit because he's not a fair weather fan, that's for sure. Okay, Eddie Heckman. Nobody's going to read all of that, okay? Nobody. So you should probably cut it down a little bit when you want to tell us things. Okay, Vinny Pasquantino has 4 home runs and 12 RBIs over his last 5 games. Vinny Pasquantino. There's virtually no speed in Pasquantino's game, but he has a hot bat lately. Isn't he a Kansas City Royal too? Stardog is Vinny? I think he is, but I might sound stupid if I don't know because as of this morning, Vinny Pasquantino is 21 for 55, batting .381 over his last 13 games. And for the season, he's at a .263 batting average, .319 on base percentage, 14 homers, 78 RBI, 49 runs scored, 24 doubles, 2 triples in 107 games. So it's not just our boy Bobby Witt, although he does get all of the attention. I even forgot what team Benny's on, but he's right there with it, contributing to the Royals' chances of making to the playoffs. Absolutely. Now, Astros outfielder Kyle Tucker has been on the injured list due to a right shin contusion for nearly 2 months now, but it doesn't appear as though he's likely to join the team anytime soon. They're really trying hard to pull away from the Mariners in this race for the AL West. Now, the Astros manager Joe Espada, told reporters yesterday that the Astros are not yet certain if Tucker will be able to contribute in the majors at any point in the month of August. He described the situation with Tucker as day-to-day, and adding that while it's a possibility he could play at some point this month, it would be too aggressive for him to commit to that timeline. So, kind of bad news for Kyle Tucker. People, he's out, and it's only the 4th of August, and for his manager to say that they don't expect him back in August, that says something, okay? All right, I bet Danny Fuller will read all of it. I'm just saying, Eddie, I'm just trying to help you out. You should try to, if you're going to, I know that there was probably some great nuggets in there about Santander that I would like to read on the air, but I can't because it's too much. Okay, the Athletics offered a positive update regarding injured closer Mason Miller. Miller played catch without his cast yesterday as he rehabs from a fractured finger in his non-throwing hand. Now, he got this fractured finger in the training room. This guy is a injury waiting to happen, as if his career has said anything to us, it's that he is an injury risk. Plus, he throws so dang hard, it makes it even more of an injury risk. His fractured finger is not in his throwing arm, so the next step is to throw a live bullpen session in a simulated game, and that will happen tomorrow, Monday. 2.21 ERA, a 1.72 FIP. His FIP is even better. In 40 2/3 innings of work as Oakland's closer, he has 15 saves on the season. Hey, Chris from Cambridge points out that Joey Votto has 54 at-bats so far. His numbers stink, but he has been able to walk outside the house without twisting his ankle, and that's always good, right? Okay, so Miller last pitched on July 22nd and was placed on the injured list a few days later after fracturing his left pinky in the club's training room.
Hold on a second.
If that bullpen session goes well, it's possible he might be able to skip a rehab assignment entirely and return not long after his first eligible to come off the shelf in August. All right, let's go. What you got, King Hap?
How's it going, Andrew? Great job this morning. I'm anxiously awaiting the return of the legend. I can't wait to hear that beautiful voice on the air again, but it's fantastic to have you this morning. I got a couple fantasy questions I was going to throw your way. I just felt like I just heard you talking about Mason Miller. And I noticed, like you said, he's an injury waiting to happen. I kind of agree. When you have a guy with like that vicious of a delivery, you got to think that there's going to be some mechanical issues that'll come along down the line. I get nervous about that. Guys like him, and then there's some other guys coming back, right, that worry me too, that play very hard. At this time of the year, it's the trading deadline. Do you move on from people like, a Mason Miller? I mean, is that somebody that you would say to move on from in a trade to maybe go ahead and solidify another position?
You can't trade him now, dude. You should have traded him like a month or two ago. I said to, but you can't trade him now. You have to keep him. You're not gonna get what he's worth if you try to trade him now. And they say he's ready to come back. The good thing is that the injury is not in his throwing arm, and this guy just puts up way too good of numbers to get less value. And you're not going to be able to trade him for full value just because of that injury.
So here's my thing. What you're saying is music to my ears because I don't own him. So I'm thinking about going ahead and acquiring him well injured because the trade deadline in my league is the 8th. I seen that and I was like, this is an easy guy to probably go ahead and get. Guys falling out of the race and if I pick him up injured for a draft pick, etc., this is something that I probably could go ahead and do at a discounted rate and get a high return. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, but here's what I try to tell Boston Paul. The most important thing about making a trade is offering the other team something that they could actually use. So if you go in thinking, I'm just going to go get Mason Miller because he's not going to trade at full value. Well, you have to make sure that you can offer something, and yes, offer something less value because of the injury, but make sure that this is something that the other guy needs on his team.
Can I ask you a question, too? Because this is the main reason for my phone call today. Well, I had two of them. Number one, how do you feel now about that Anthony Volpe trade I called in about a month ago, and you had said that Anthony Volpe for Corbin Burns was kind of lopsided? I mean, do you think maybe that statement may be kind of retractable at this point?
No, dude. Look at it just on the surface. You got freaking Corbin Burns for a potential good hitter, but actual mediocre hitter. You got one of the best pitchers in baseball for a mediocre hitter, right?
Going off like a prom dress, though. Just saying. And one last thing I'll throw out there, and then I'll let you get back to the show. People are starting to make panic moves at this point of the season. You have any advice for those people that start talking about trading people like a Fernando Tatis or, other people along those lines? Because I noticed a lot of people getting panics. I'm getting a lot of trades in my inbox and a lot of people offering me deals. I mean, what's your advice for the panic moves at the trade deadline?
I mean, if other people are panicking and stuff like that, you take advantage of it. If they're going to make ridiculous offers to you like Anthony Volpe for freaking Corbin Burns, dude, you're taking it. It's all about winning.
Amen.
You win now. That's the key. Winning today.
Understood. Andrea, fantastic job. You've done a great job in the Legends absence. Can't wait to hear back on the air, and everybody in the chat room, you guys are fantastic. I appreciate the support for Lenny, myself the other day doing the show, and Andrea. You do me a favor, Andrea. Have a lovely Sunday, and everyone in the chat room. Love you guys. I'll see you all in the chat room. Thanks.
Hold on. Lenny wants to say goodbye to you, and we appreciate you, dude. Thanks.
Yes, man. Thank you.
Okay, there. I love you, kid.
Okay, so that's all I got for today. I'm done with my tidbits. I saved Mason Miller for the end. And you guys just keep chatting up in the chat room, which makes me so happy. Eddie, I didn't mean to be rude to you. I apologize. I was just, I just say whatever comes to my head. So it's a good thing and a bad thing, but we love you. We've known you too long for us not to love you, Eddie Heckman. So I see Tommy Johnson made it in. Great to see you, Tommy Johnson. Leonard will be back on air tomorrow, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon. And we'll see you bright and early back in action tomorrow, the legend, and have a great day.